I would like to welcome the next panel, which I'm moderating. So we're going to have each one of these individuals share for 1 to 2 minutes about their stories. You've got Eriko with Zelle, Glenn with 3 Bars and Grill, as well as Fork and Salad, and then of course David with Ululani, right? Ululani Shave Ice. I have to make sure I pronounced it correctly. Okay, please welcome our panelists. Test, yes. Okay, so in no particular order, we'll have each one of our panelists share 1 to 2 minutes about who they are, their company, and why they got started. And so, since we're not starting in any particular order, Eriko?
Hi, I'm Eriko, and I am the founder of Zelle Organic, which is an organic fruit jello snack company. And when I say that, a lot of people are like, what? The idea of organic and jello, often it just doesn't make sense to people. But the story behind the founding of my business and product is that I grew up eating my mom's homemade jello. It's a Japanese jello and nothing like the artificial jello that we find here. And loved it when I was growing up, and ate it throughout my childhood, but then kind of forgot about it as I went off to college and lived away from home. And then when my children were born, my mother started making it, I started making it, and they loved it, and their friends loved it. And I realized that there was nothing on the market that kind of had the fun jello texture that kids typically like and that we grew up loving, that was still healthy for them, because I became one of those kind of obsessive label readers, buying organic food and non-GMO food for my kids. And so I saw a void in the market and felt that it was something that could really do well in the United States. And so I founded Zelle, and it is a packaged food product. So it's in a pouch, it's on the go, and it's manufactured on the mainland. And because of that, I had to kind of grow really quickly because I couldn't start small. The requirements at these co-packers, and also from a packaging standpoint, I had to order a lot at once. So we are distributed here in Hawaii as well as currently on the West Coast and online. And so that's my company.
Thank you. Glenn?
Aloha, everyone. Hi, my name is Glenn Morrin. I'm the beverage director for Three's Bar and Grill, also the same company as Fork and Salad. We started our business back in 2009, 2010, right in the middle of the recession, thinking that if we could be successful at the worst time, that down the line we would be very successful. And that has happened. So basically, the way this company started is 3 friends, Travis, my son, Jaron, and Cody Christopher. We're all working at a Wailea restaurant all together, and we're all surfing buddies. And basically, they decided they all had culinary skills, and they all wanted to do something else than work for someone else. So they started a little catering company and found out that they did not have enough kitchen space. They had to keep getting commercial kitchens to run their business, and they decided to open a restaurant and take a big step. And so they did so. And from there, things have evolved, and that's our #1 word that we use around the restaurant and the company is evolution, as things always have to change in order for us to go forward. And imua is another word that we use a lot going forward, never backward. So we've had our pitfalls, and we'll go over those maybe later, but right now we are going to franchise our Fork and Salad concept on the mainland. I'm here because Travis was not able to be here because he's just got back from California, where we're looking for a spot to open a corporate store for fork and salad. So, basically.
David?
Hi there, my name is David Yamashiro with Ululani's Hawaiian Shave Ice. I'm a co-founder and partner, and Ululani, again, is my wife. Our company, we started also in the tail end of 2008, so December 26, 2008 is when we started. And within the first 3 to 4 months, we knew that we needed to grow. So we started in a 65 square foot shop, which is of course super tiny, that was off the street, had no visibility, no signage, but within 3 months, due to social media, we had to expand. Every year since then, for the next 4 years, we opened one new shop. And the second 2 years after that, we opened 2 shops per year, including different businesses. One, we opened a bake shop and a shave ice shop, and another one, we opened a to-go shop and a shave ice shop. Right now, we're at the point that we're going to be franchising. We did open our first franchise in the Big Island on Kona, and we've had over 10,000 franchise inquiries from 49 countries to date. And one of the reasons for the explosion has been we had a 10-minute Food Network live feed, and they came and they were expecting, we were only going to be 10 minutes, we hope we're not going to interrupt you. And that 10 minutes turned into a 40-minute video feed, in which during that time frame we had a 1 million viewers that viewed that episode. Since then, that viewership has gone up to 26 million. And we've had an additional 29 countries inquire to franchise. Where we're at right now, we're at the point that we're ready to explode. And we've also pivoted in terms of our strategy, but there's a lot of exciting things to come. And we are also considered to be the innovators of the new wave of shave ice. And we will continue to be on the forefront because we're continually innovating and pushing the limits on what we can accomplish and what we can provide to our guests.
Thank you. So another quick round of applause for building 3 successful businesses. So as an investor, obviously, depending upon the stage of your company, we look at different things, right? Team is obviously very important. Having that differentiation is very important. But a lot of entrepreneurs forget about this X factor, right? And that's story, right? Storytelling can be absolutely powerful. And one of the things that I noticed looking at all of your sites, and even now when you were telling your story or your journey, sharing your journey of your business inception and growth, is all of you on your websites have stories, right, as to why you started the business. David, you and your wife were actually in the Pacific Northwest, right? And you were craving shave ice. And so you started it over there before you moved back to Maui, correct? Yes. And then for Zelle, it all started because of your daughter's food allergies. Is that correct?
That was part of it, yes.
Yeah, the big driving force. And then 3 friends who were just tired of working for other people and just wanted to start their own things. So the point is, these stories are powerful, right? These stories help draw in customers. These stories allow people to sort of react, if you will, and appreciate the journey that you're on and want to continue to support you. So definitely do not overlook that aspect as you're building your business. So since the theme today is sort of growth versus scale, can each one of you just very shortly take us through a then and now snapshot of your growth, right? And you shared a little bit about it in your introductions, but if you can share a little bit more with the audience.
Sure, let me start, okay? Again, going back to 3 surfers in the water, basically Travis, and this is through Chef up here, Chef Chris, and his culinary school, okay, at the Maui Community College. One of Travis's projects was to come up with a concept, a business concept. And so he did. And that's how the Threes logo was created. So from there, basically they opened their restaurant in the middle of the triangle, which is not the best area in the world, but their idea was to open a white tablecloth restaurant, okay, in the middle of the triangle. And again, they have a lot of passion. We all have a lot of passion. And after a month, it didn't work. So we had to evolve. We had to change. We had to listen to our customers and listen to our guests to find what's going to work so we can survive as a company. And that's what we did. And we changed the concept, going from a white tablecloth restaurant to a little more casual dining, and that's what works there, and so on and so forth. And from there, the catering company took off, getting a lot more guests. We worked out a lot of partnerships. That's really important for what you're trying to do, finding the right people to have a win-win situation. We worked with the MAC. We worked with Pacific Whale Foundation. We got a big contract there, which helped us move forward till we can buy a fleet of vehicles for our catering department, and also a food truck, as you all know and see on the streets. And with that came branding. And so we had our branding on our food truck and our fleet of vehicles, which is instant marketing throughout the island. So that really helped to bring our customer base up. And so we were able to really change things a lot. And then the boys are always thinking, okay, I like to call them the boys because I'm the old guy. But, they're always thinking, and they always have ideas, and they're always traveling. So they decided to open Fork and Salad, take a chance, and bring the farm-to-table concept, bring farmers, get them involved with what they were trying to do. And it's all worked so far, and to the point now where we are going to be franchising out. And again, they're looking at a spot to open a store in California where they can reach out and help train all of the franchisees from there.
So I started here on Maui, and it was a little bit of, well, not a little, a very scary way to start, because selling product into retail stores, you can't get them to commit to buying your product and selling your product without the actual product. So I had to go and make thousands of units of my product and then show up. And so I would go to Down to Earth and meet with the buyer and hope that she would take it. And I did the same thing with Whole Foods and Mana, and I just walked around with the actual product, knowing that I had thousands of units sitting in a warehouse. So that was kind of how I started, really door to door, getting these local accounts. But simultaneously, because I had so much product that I had to produce due to the manufacturer's requirements, I started working with different distributors and brokers, region by region. And so now I have brokers in Southern California and Northern California, the Pacific Northwest. I have distributors that can distribute up and down the West Coast, as well as in Texas. And I also sell online quite a bit, both through our website as well as kind of Amazon, and more recently through Thrive Market, which is an online natural, healthy grocery store that's kind of a discount, membership-based model on the mainland that seems to be really taking off. I didn't really know very much about it, but it's been a tremendous driver of growth for us. So, we're kind of growing both geographically and through different channels as well.
So I mentioned that we started in a 65 square foot shop, and what I didn't share were the challenges that came about with that 65 square foot shop. We're in a little strip mall, and our business was tucked away, but because we became busy so fast, we had complaints from all of our neighboring tenants and businesses. And, our lines were blocking their visibility, and there were a lot of challenges. I also lived in Kula, and our first shop was in Lahaina. So that trek for an hour back and forth, was an ordeal. But as we've grown, the point that we're at now, when I said that we're ready to explode, is we also chose the franchise route, but the franchise route wasn't as fast as we anticipated it to be. We didn't have enough pieces in place in order to get to where we needed to go. But we are at that point now. But we've also had I went to Chris and Corey's food innovation class as well, this past class that they had. And the class was a from concept to market class. But during that time, what was really exciting was one of the products that we were looking at was to innovate a reduced sugar, like a 50% reduction in sugar flavors. And while we were doing that, we actually came up with a line of sugar-free flavors that does not have that sugar-free aftertaste. And in fact, it's delicious. So what has come about since then has been an evolvement and a new revenue stream that, we've had conversations. We just came back from a trip to the mainland in which there's just tremendous potential for us to explode. And again, it's pretty incredible. It all started here on Maui during the middle of the recession or the start of the recession. But a lot of good things are in store for us.
That's fantastic. So to tie in just what we heard with two of the questions that we had, right? So how does the mechanic shop scale? Well, these are traditional businesses. How are they scaling? They're franchising, right? So the mechanic shop can franchise. That is another way. How do you know when you have a product that's 5 to 10 times better than the competitors? As David was talking about this non-sugar aftertaste, definitely members in the audience were like, ooh, that's how you know, right? Your customer lets you know that you have something that is significantly better and that they're absolutely interested in. So you have to pay attention to those cues and pick up on them. So all three of you are in the food business. What has that been like, that journey? Do you source locally? How has it been to source some of the products for your respective companies, et cetera?
For our business, it's a little challenging because of the volume that we do. We also need to have consistency in our products. So obviously there's different seasons. There's mango season, there's lilikoi season, there's calamansi. Fruit is seasonal. It's not only seasonal, but the quality of the fruit varies depending on the weather or when it's harvested or picked.
So do you source local?
We utilize local whenever it's in season or possible, but otherwise we source outside of, we purchase it here, but it's coming in from the mainland.
Sure.
And we use real fruit in a lot of our syrups, and the quantity of fruit that we use is tremendous. So again, that differentiates our product as well. And what we've been able to do is we've been able to get that wow factor where one person is going to come, they're going to try a product. They may come back the same day. They may tell their family. They'll all come back. They'll come back the next day. And if they're here for 2 weeks, they may come 10 to 12 times in the 2 weeks that they're here. So again, the wow factor is definitely a piece.
Zelle?
So we source all organic ingredients, which can be tricky. But because our manufacturing is on the mainland, we try to source kind of from the West Coast so that the transportation costs are not too high. Most of our ingredients are frozen because we wanted them to be as fresh as possible. And so that's an added expense and also complicates things from the seasonality as well as the quality. We want consistent taste, but season to season, the same fruit can taste quite different. So we have to manage that as well. And as we grow, that's definitely one of the challenges of really understanding what our kind of ingredient sourcing needs are and the volumes and timing. All of that is a big challenge as your business grows.
Well, I guess I got a tale of two stories. One is fork and salad. Basically, we use local farmers, like I said before, and that's the only way to do it. Keep everything local. And as far as Three's Bar and Grill, in my segment of the company is the beverage department. And basically, we definitely do our best to source local companies. So we keep it on island or at least in state. We source from Kauai, Koloa rums. We do upcountry, Halimali distributing. We use Pau vodka in all of our cocktails. Pau vodka, we use Fifth Street gin. We also use Paniolo bourbon. And of course, Ocean vodka and their new Kula rum, Lahaina rum. We use all of these and we show it prominently on our cocktail list. So the guests coming in will want to order these cocktails. And for myself, when I went to visit my daughter in Washington State, okay, as someone who is purchasing, I am looking for products I have never had before, something that is local. And I look for Washington bourbons, Washington gins. I'm not looking for something made in Holland. I'm not looking for something like that. So it works for us. We turn that around and we source all of those liquors locally, which brings money back to our economy, and that's good.
Have any of you taken outside capital? How have you been funding your growth?
That's more Jaren's expertise. To tell you the truth, I probably won't be able to tell you much on that, but I apologize.
Oh. So do you think it's been more organic or?
We have definitely built our business on the family. We have family contributors, and now we're sourcing out, some investors and such like that. But the family's always been number one to help grow the business for the last 7-8 years, and that's where we all got it from.
That's fantastic.
So thus far, it's been self-funded. I started this business on my own, and then about a year and a half ago, I brought in a partner who happened to be a really good friend of mine from my early 20s. And so she has brought in some capital as well. So we've so far kind of been able to fund it on our own, but we have some different new product ideas and various kind of growth ideas that we do need to fund. So we're kind of thinking about outside capital, and it's on our to-do list.
For us, for the first 4 years, we self-funded as well. All of our growth came from the revenue that we're bringing in from our businesses. But what happens when you do that is you're really not able to smell the roses. You're continuously putting money back in, and you get some rub from your spouse saying, "Can you please just slow down?" So what we did was, because of the amount of franchise inquiries that we had, one of the people that came to inquire to franchise, we had a long talk, and they had a lot of experience and a lot of success on a big scale. So we brought them in as a minority working partner, and again, with the money that was brought in through that, we were able to get ourselves to the point that we're at now. Although last year we did take on a small bank loan in order to grow and renovate and build out some of the pieces that we needed to.
So how did you all know when was the appropriate time to kind of flip that switch between growth and scaling? So
I guess I go back to that word evolution again, and it's something that you feel, how the business is going, and when you reach a plateau, you need to go over that plateau, and you need to do something different. And basically, that's where we came from, and that's where we continue to grow.
I'm not really sure it was so thought out for us. Different things have led to choices and decisions that we've had to make. For example, from a production standpoint, we started out with this smaller manufacturing partner in California that the benefit was that they were willing to produce not as much. Some of the bigger co-packers said, each run we're going to produce 100,000 pouches. And that just seemed, totally crazy, and I couldn't commit to that. So I was able to find this smaller manufacturer that had a much lower minimum, but they were not very efficient, they were expensive, and their quality wasn't always up to my standards. And so as we were growing, we kind of were forced to switch to a new co-packer, and we now have a different facility that's working with us, and they are much more efficient, can produce a lot more for less per unit price, and so that has kind of really helped our growth and kind of forced us into scaling. And then these online retailers that kind of came into the mix at the same time could take the product, and so it wasn't really a strategy per se, but just happened naturally.
As for us, we knew it was time to grow when, about pretty much 3 months after we opened, the amount of business that was coming through was pretty incredible, and there was no end in sight. And we had a lot of inquiries from people that were living on opposite sides of the island. They wanted us to open a shop in Kahului, in Kihei. So we realized that the demand was there. And so the first 4 shops were really more, we didn't plan for it. When we had the success that we did, opportunities just came knocking on our door. So whether or not it was a business that was vacant or properties that were vacant, somebody was moving out, we were given the first option at taking on some spaces. After that first 4 shops, things became to come. When we brought our partner in, things were more strategic. From that point on, everything that we did, we had a plan for. And where we're at right now and where we're going to is all planned for.
So I'll ask one more question, open up to the audience, and then close with a question. Okay, so I'm a true believer in technology, right? I think one of the ways to also help with scaling is to increase efficiency, right? So instead of that one input to get one output, can you do half of an input to get that same output, right? And there are ways that you can do that through efficiencies, and I think technology helps with that. How, if at all, each one of you using technology in your businesses to help increase efficiency?
I don't know if increasing efficiency is what we're doing, but what we're doing is pretty much every guest that we're serving with Yelp, TripAdvisor, Google, with all of the different platforms, reviews, platforms that are available out there, we're managing to capture that. We are number 1 on Google. In fact, we pretty much dominate the best chef ice in the world page. We're probably 6 entries on the first 10 page. 10 is us, and that's organic. Best chef ice in Maui, we're dominate, and again, we're 5-star rated and number 1 on Yelp, 5-star rated, number 1 on TripAdvisor.
So is there any technology that you're using in your business today that you couldn't do without?
Well, no, technology is the key to being able to maintain and attain and maintain positioning. And we actually we're developing another strategy because in the beginning I was doing it myself, and as we went along, some of our employees were doing it. Now it's too big, we can't respond to everything, and that's the key to,
So you've automated it.
yes.
Very cool. Eriko.
I think for us, kind of the online sales opportunities have been really surprisingly great, both from a margin standpoint as well as just having control. When you sell through retailers, you completely lose control on everything from where they place the product, how much they're going to charge, whether they're going to reorder so it's in stock, the timing of when they put it on sale, all that stuff is not within our control. And so having these online platforms have been really, really great. The other thing that I didn't realize was so important was the whole social media scene. And part of it is about engaging with your customers, but there's another component of it where it legitimizes your business. And so when we pitch to a big chain in California, for example, that buyer is going to go to our Instagram account and see, what do they look like? Do they exist? And so that's something else that we've focused on, and it's kind of a requirement, I think, for businesses today to really focus on the social media component.
Go on.
Well, of course, the social media sites are fantastic. Food and beverage is so visual. And to put pictures every day on Instagram, which we do, is extremely important for us so people can see and be attracted by it and come on by and try it, rather than just reading a menu online. That really helps. Also, believe it or not, cameras. Cameras in the restaurant help us manage the restaurant. As far as the boys are concerned, they have to, because of all the growth, they are moving away from the restaurant, and they have trustful managers and such, but they need to be able to see things and be there but not be there kind of deal, and that's really helped us. And we have something called Asana, which we use to help manage the managers, so we know that things are being done as we ask them to be done, and it's tracked that way.
Very cool. Very short yes or no. Are any of you thinking of blockchain, incorporating blockchain in your business? No. That's okay.
Define blockchain.
Okay, so on that note, we will open it up to the audience for a couple of questions. Yes. So the question is, what's the wish list for a good commercial kitchen? And you don't all have to answer.
Well, basically, it's
But you
just
can.
everything there that you need to execute your food. Basically, it has to be very, very well maintained and very clean. That's number one that we need, to happen. And again, it just needs to be fully equipped with everything that you need, that you can expect and have there at your disposal, so you can get in and out as fast as you can. Get the job done.
Yeah, I think it depends on if you're doing it to open it up for people to use, then it depends on, the equipment is endless that you can get. So it has to be more pointed to whatever it is that you're going to offer and make out of there.
Yes.
I'm very impressed by the scale and the growth of some of these businesses that are getting franchise opportunities throughout the world. One of the biggest challenges, I think, in Hawaii is that we are so far from the mainland, and that huge pond that divides your manufacturing facility and your market. What have the challenges been comparing yourself to other businesses that might be mainland-based and starting up in the middle of nowhere? And are you able to get economic opportunities to maybe bring back manufacturing to Hawaii when you achieve a measure of success?
So challenges and benefits to starting a business in Hawaii versus elsewhere.
There are definitely challenges, just from very simple challenges of, time zone differences and communicating to kind of being able to have physical in-person meetings as frequently as you'd like. So it is difficult, but definitely doable. I've had to rely on different partners and consultants and like these brokers and distributors that we're working with. But you really do have to keep a close eye on everybody, because when you are far away, they definitely don't focus the way that they might if you're watching over their shoulders constantly.
So when the cat's away, the mice will play.
Yes, for sure. And someone gave me the advice that you really do have to pay attention, because no one's going to ever care about your business the way you care about it. No matter how great the person you hire is, they're just not going to have the same passion and attention that you will have. So I do think it's more challenging. Now, the business partner that I have is based on the mainland now, so that definitely helps to have someone who is fully, invested in the company, that really cares to, be able to kind of keep an eye on everything. But it is a challenge.
Shipping, of course, is the biggest one. Everything that we have here in terms of raw material everything is shipped in. And if you're going to put something out on the mainland, it needs to be shipped out. So the cost factor to that is significant. But being able to overcome it through whether or not it's pricing or volume, it's possible to work through a lot of the challenges that are there.
So if you could go back, would you still start your business here, or would you start it on the continent?
We wouldn't have had our success, the success that we have now, if we were not here on Maui.
I agree totally.
I love it. I think having a team, having a crew is absolutely essential, right? It's like the age-old African proverb. You want to go far, you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you go together, right? Yeah. Thank you.